a bit of a different video than what I'm used to making on my YouTube channel at least, but it is time, guys, for a makeup routine or makeup routine that I like to do. My makeup routine changes quite a bit. Sometimes I do just a little bit of makeup, sometimes I will go like full glam if I have to go to a very nice event or if there's like a nice gathering. I just want to make myself look presentable. But sometimes I'll just do like a simple makeup look for work. So it really just truly depends. Today I'm gonna show you like a full makeup routine, which is a little bit contradictory considering I'm about to literally go work out. But hey, I can work out looking beautiful. So we're gonna get right into this. I'm gonna kind of walk you through the products that I like to use, what I have found works best for me. And once again, I don't use all of these products like on a day to day basis. Like I said, my makeup routine changes quite a bit. Sometimes I will just put on a little bit of mascara and lip gloss and call it good. Other times I might do a little bit of bronzer and blush to make my cheeks stand out. Maybe do a little bit of eyeshadow and then a tiny bit of lip gloss and call it good there. And other times I will just go full out. So I'm going to show you what a full out, like total makeup routine for me looks like in its entirety. So, the first product that we are going to use here, what I like to start off with, is a little bit of foundation. This is Maybelline foundation here, and it's really important kind of to look at the numbers on the top to figure out what shade you want best. The darker or the higher the number is here, the darker the shade will be. So again, that really just depends on your skin tone and what works best for you. I have the 122. I find that it works really well for me here. And it depends also, make sure you look at the makeup brushes that you have and what kind of brushes you think would work best for it as well. So I like to use this kind of a brush here, and we're literally just dabbing away at it. So we're getting a little bit of product in here like that. I have a mirror up front, up in there that I'm looking at too, so it kind of helps me place my products. Going for a little bit dab more. I know usually I try to pull back my bangs, and right now I don't have anything to hold those back quite yet. So there, the wipe off the excess over on here too, and then I do have a little towel as well that I kind of wash off any excess of products here. And don't worry, the towel does get washed quite frequently actually. So there's that. We're now going to switch to this bigger brush here. It is a natural foundation brush from e.l.f. And again, you can like literally just brush it out all over your face however you like. The tip that I've learned with this is just to go kind of in and out. The more you start, we'll get the nose down here too. Foundation is a really good setting start or a setting point for your makeup here. It's setting the foundation quite literally of the rest of your routine. And again, like I said, a light shade to match your skin tone and your skin color here. If you use a darker shade of foundation, your skin might look a little bit tanner or lighter compared to the rest of your body. So I really do kind of like to stay in as close of a skin tone to me as possible, just so it doesn't look like my face is out of touch with the rest of the look. So there's that. We got the foundation kind of all settled in there. Sometimes I will, to spread my foundation, use a sponge here too, which as you can see is used quite a bit. So you can either use this foundation brush or use a little bit of a sponge too, whatever works best for you. So now that that's done, here we're gonna set these off to the side, starting further away. Next up is concealer. This is e.l.f.'s product. I don't use a ton of concealer, quite frankly. I only put in areas that I know will need some coverage here. So kind of over there too. And then off to the sides a little bit. There, we're going to let the concealer sit for a while. Again, I find that that kind of helps cover it up, and it helps the product sink in a little bit. So we're going to let the concealer sit for a while. Next up, we're going to do my eyebrows here. This is another product from e.l.f. It's an eyebrow gel here. I don't use this a lot. Again, I think eyebrows are very custom to individuals in general, but you can just kind of laminate your brows with this. Here. If you notice you have a lot of extra product, you can kind of wipe it off a little bit. I like to use my finger kind of here and just go around there like that. So that's eyebrow gel. Next up, we're going to do a little bit of bronzer. I sometimes will use a contour and bronzer kind of stick up here to kind of blend in, but more often than not, I do have a darker shade of bronzer that I also like to use up there and just gives it a little bit of texture. So this is matte bronzer from LA Colors. I use a brush like this, so it has like two sides. As you can see, I've already dabbed a bit of bronzer in there. So we'll just kind of do that and then just kind of put it off to the side like this. Again, this one is a very custom look, so don't feel like it has to be part of your routine, but I just kind of like to blend out the skin tones up there a little bit. So there, kind of gives you a little bit of a natural finish. Alrighty, there, and don't worry, we're going to go back with some more of this bronzer later. So now that that's done, we're going to blend in the concealer here. This is just, it's a precision brush, but it's another brush I just kind of like to use to blend in my concealer. Again, a sponge works well for this stuff too, but you can just kind of go in a little bit better, I personally think. Also, look at how I'm kind of brushing using my brush like this. Again, I want the concealer in the areas where I really need extra help with it, so I'm not trying to blend it all over my face. I think that kind of defeats the purpose a little bit. There. And I'll go back with the sponge here too, if I can't reach some of that extra product, and kind of get it to its full potential. Like that. So now concealer is blended in with that brush. I think I found this brush like at a Five Below somewhere, but again, it does work well for my concealer. So you can use a concealer brush, sponge like I just used, whatever brush you feel like works best for you. So now that that's done, we're gonna go in with the powder. This is Wet n Wild. It's loose setting powder. There's two different types of powder I've found that I have used over the years. There is a loose setting powder, which is more for your cream products. So like concealer, foundation, contour and bronzer sticks. This helps you lock in your products for like an entire day. So if you want your makeup to really last, there's also something called a pressed powder here. And this is more for if you only want your makeup for either 30 minutes to an hour. It sets in your products for less time than what this kind of powder does. So again, it depends if you are going to an event for an entire day and you want your makeup to really last. I recommend using loose setting powder. If you only want your makeup for about an hour or so, then pressed powder is the way to go. But we're going to go in with a little mixture of both. Again, this is from Wet n Wild. This is what it looks like here. And you do not need a lot of product. I do not use a whole ton of product here. So we're going to go in first with this angled brush. Again, do that. Wipe off that excess there. You do not need a lot. There. And as you can tell, I got powder all over there. I'm going to go in kind of where I got the concealer under the eyes with that. Kind of angle the brush down there. It might make a lot of noise too, so don't worry about that. Another loose setting powder with Laura Mercier. I feel like that powder is probably a lot better if you want like a loose setting powder there, but this is a bit cheaper from Wet n Wild. I also think it works well and it's not going to take off your makeup entirely. So if you're looking for just a loose setting powder to use that's pretty affordable, I would say, I think Wet n Wild's powder is the way to go. But again, if you want like high quality product, Laura Mercier does have its setting powder. I know it is recommended by a lot of professionals who do like professional makeup. But now that we have the setting powder in place, we're going to go in with some powdered stuff here. So bronzer and blush. We're going to start off with the bronzer again. I'm going to use matte, but I'm also going to use this Mosaic bronzer as well. Again, we're going to take kind of the same brush that we used here in this angle. Make sure you get some of that excess off. And I'm just going to go kind of around the cheekbone here. I do want to save room for the blush later. Make sure you wipe off your excess too from your stuff. You don't want to get the powder in there entirely, and then it kind of defeats the purpose of your clean makeup overall look. But that's the matte bronzer there. It's a bit of a darker shade. And now we're going to go in with some of this lighter bronzer, kind of just to balance it out. You can use the same brush. I just like to use a different brush for different stuff. And then we're just going to go in like this around the cheekbone and across from it. I also think using a lighter bronzer kind of helps your blush stand out more as opposed to the darker shade of bronzer there. So as you can see, this is really, really light compared to this really darker shade. Both shades work for me. If I'm doing just a typical routine here where I just want my makeup on for a couple of hours or stuff, this is the type of bronzer that I will more often than not go to. But again, if I have makeup on for an entire day, then the darker shade of bronzer, I feel like just helps that stay in place a little bit more. So that's that. It's now time for blush. This is Wet n Wild's blush here. Not very big, but it works well for me and the products that I like. This is an actual blush brush. Kind of rhymes a little bit, but Again, words, tap off your excess, and then I go kind of by the cheekbone here. I do not use a lot of blush. I get very rosy cheeks just naturally, so I do not need a ton of blush here, especially when my cheeks already look kind of pink in general. So that's just the blush there. We're now going to go in with some powdered, powder, pressed powder. I just said powdered. Pressed powdered here. I'm going to bring back this kind of brush here. You don't need a lot. Like I said, tap off your excess there. And then we're just going to kind of lock in those powdered products in place. We're halfway done through this routine, guys. I promise. We don't have much longer to go. So there's that. This is more, I think this is the end of just the powdery stuff. Again, with just like the overall face here. We're now going to get into some details here. And by details, I mean the eyes, the mascara, the eyelids, and the lips. This is a 16-minute video right now, but I'm kind of walking you through it. So I feel like it should have been expected to be a bit long. But we're going to finish up the eyebrows here. This is a brow pencil. This is like a dark shade here. I don't use this, again, a lot, but if I just want to kind of draw out the eyebrows again a little bit, some of it's a bit darker than other spots. So kind of going in through there like that is cool. You could probably tell a little bit of where I drew it, but again, that's kind of the point. Then we can use kind of this brush here and kind of smooth it out a little bit. There. Perfectamundo. All right, let's get into bee eyes now here. I do have a bit of a fun routine for this. And again, this is probably where it gets a lot complicated than what it has to be. But I'm going to walk you through it anyway. We're going to start here with this palette. It's blush and highlight. We're going to start with the blush first, which is very weird, I know, but stay with me. It's going to make a little bit of sense, I promise. So we're going to go with this kind of shade here for the blush. Tap off the excess there. And then we're just going to start by giving you a solid base of your eyes. Up and out. Like that. Same with the other side. And you might be wondering, why do we need blush when we're going to go in with actual eyeshadow later? I just think this is a good kind of base for your eyeshadow. Again, it's a little bit darker, but I do have lighter and darker eyeshadow, so I feel like it kind of balances out the light shadow that I'm about to go in with after. But there, again, you can barely tell I have it on, which is the point. Less is more is what I say when I do makeup, and I firmly believe that you can do a lot with the routine with just minimal makeup that you have. Again, I'm not doing that today, but I do like to do it every once in a while. So, I feel like I lost my other makeup brush here, but that is okay. Here, we'll just continue with this brush I used for the blush here. We're not going into eyeshadow. This is Wet n Wild eyeshadow palette. I stick with mostly the same brand, so Wet n Wild, LA Colors. Sometimes NYX has good products I like, but again, sticking with the same brands, it just works well for me, and I like the products that I use. So I don't try to switch it up like everywhere and use products from a bunch of makeup companies or makeup beauty places. Whatever works best for you works best for you. And that's the model that I have found works best for me the last couple of years as I've really gone into doing my makeup. So we're going to start here. We're going to use this lighter shade first, again, take a little bit there. We're going to go around the edges again where we put on our blush. You can kind of close your eyes, go up and out. This is not the only eyeshadow palette that I own. I have like multiple eyeshadow palettes. I do just try to use the same one as much as possible, just so I can use it up. So I don't need as many eyeshadow palettes that I have. So that's a little bit on me. But this is the one I use like almost every single day. And again, it really just works for me. We're now going to go in with a smaller brush here, and we're going to go into this darker shade now. This shade right here. And we're going to go on the outer sides only. Again, we have kind of like the lighter shades and the lighter eyeshadow and a little bit of the blush there. We're now going to kind of give the eyes some color and give it a little bit of tone. And I found that a darker eyeshadow kind of can help do that all in one. And this is a trick that I've learned from my mother, actually, when I first started learning how to do makeup and when she was doing my makeup, is that you go lighter first and then you just add a little bit of darker color and then your eyes will stick out. So there's that there, the eye shadow. We now have one more part of the eyes that I like to do. We're going to bring back this palette here. We're going to go in some highlight. Now, I use this small brush here. This really, really small brush. We're going to go with this next. Go there and press it against the eyelids first. I'm not going totally all in. But there, it kind of adds some color to that part of your eyes. This is probably the part of my routine where I don't feel the most confident, and it kind of can fluctuate depending on how great these look by day. But then we just put a little bit around the corners too. Again, make it stand out. So there's that. That's the eyeshadow stuff. If you don't like eyeshadow or you don't want to spend a lot of money on eyeshadow here, look at the colors that I used here. It's like a light and a dark color. Bronzer can also be a really great tool. If you don't want to spend money on eyeshadow, take like a darker bronzer around the edges of your eyes and then just a lighter bronzer for this lighter shade. That can easily work as well. So, with that being said, it's now time for mascara. But first, I'm going to put you on something here. This is lip stain liner here. I know there's plenty of better lip stain products out there, but this is Amora's lip stain here. I like to paint on a layer just kind of to make my lips look pigmented here. We're going to start off with this shade. Like that. Then a little bit more product. And we're going to let it sit. It's not the best look. But again, I don't know how you can really put on lip stain and have it look nice, but I'm going to try to wipe off a little bit of the excess. There. This is literally just a lip brush. Again, see? Kind of doesn't look the best, but it works. So we're going to let that sit. And then we're going to do some mascara here. This is CoverGirl's mascara. I use two different types of mascara. This is like the main mascara that I use. And then this is the second mascara that I will go in. It's CoverGirl Plum Crusher. It kind of takes off any extra mascara that you might have put on originally. So we're going to start here. This is also a brown shade, which again, I love having natural brown hair. So we go in. So upwards. I really am a big fan of CoverGirl's mascara. So this is just one that I'm really loving at the moment. Get around all the edges of the eyes there. Alrighty, we'll now go in with our second one, the Plum Crusher. Here too, it's going to take off a little bit of extra product, and it just makes your lashes look a bit cleaner, and it makes them stand out more. There we go. We're going to make those lashes look nice. There we go. All right. The lip stain is dry here. It usually says to let sit for 10 to 30 seconds here. Sometimes I do a bit longer, but you can just take a wet cloth and kind of take off your product there. One thing I will say about using Amora, I think it's hard to tell kind of where your lip stain was at first. So you might not notice that it left a nice stain for you, but I still think it's good something kind of to have as a point for the lips here. Kind of dry it off. Okay, we're almost done, guys. I promise you. Just two more steps here. Now that we're done with the mascara, we're gonna do a little bit of eyeliner here. This is Wet n Wild eyeliner. Sometimes I will use NYX eyeliner as well. Both work both work perfectly well, but this is an eyeliner pen, which I also really prefer. You can kind of start towards the edge of your eyelids here and kind of just draw it upwards a little bit like that. Here, if you can see, you don't need a lot. This works perfectly fine here. And again, it just kind of brings out a little bit of extra corners of the eyes, which I am all for. It's now time for the lips here. I use three lip products here. Starting off with just Burt's Natural Chapstick. Did the lips nice and settled for the other products here. Rub it in. This is Lip Vibrance. It is like a lip sunscreen here, which I also think is really nice. It can also look like you're wearing natural lipstick, which I also think is really cool. So you can kind of go in there. Perfect. And then last step here, you can either use a lipstick or lip gloss, whichever one works. I just so happened to grab a lip gloss. This is Wet n Wild here. It's a pink shade, so it's not gonna make my lips look totally like out there, but it still works perfectly fine. Put some on. And voila! There we go. This is my makeup routine to its fullest. So we used foundation, we used concealer, we used, I forget what else we used, loose setting powder, bronzer, blush, pressed powder here, some eyeshadow, highlight, mascara, eyeliner, some brow gel, a brow pencil, and then of course just chapstick, and some lip gloss here. So that might be a lot more products than what someone would prefer. You can easily take out products, you can add products in. It really truly depends. Oh yeah, we also used lip liner here as well. I will say, if you're looking for just a very, very basic makeup routine, mascara, a little bit of lip gloss, and some blush can really do wonders to your face. No, mascara can make your eyelashes kind of pop out. You same with the blush, just adds a little bit of color to your cheeks, and the lip gloss just kind of highlights the bottom half. So that is just three products here. It can still make you look nice. It can still make your face pop out if that's what your goal is. Again, makeup is entirely up to you. You can use one product for your entirety of your makeup routine, and that could work well. You could use like 5 to 10 products. So it's basically all custom to you and what you prefer and what you like. And again, you don't really need makeup to feel beautiful. I know that's easier said than done, but this I just thought I would do a makeup routine. I kind of teased it for a while and I've just never followed through with it. So, here we go. Final routine in its entirety. If you happen to like this kind of content, well, this video was for you. I will be back to making more podcast styled videos probably at a later date. But for today, I just wanted to do something fun. And this was something fun. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching, and I will catch you on the next video.